right. I think I am live. I think I'm live. What's up, you guys? Hope everybody's doing well. Let me bring up the other channel. Looks like we got a couple of people that are already online. Cool. Okay, looks like we're having a little bit of issue streaming to Instagram. So if there's anybody that's coming through on Instagram, apologies there. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and kick it off. My name is Jay, and I am the founder at Ellington Technologies. Well, also BookInstead, which owns Ellington Tech, which owns is owned by Ellington Technologies. BookInstead is owned by Ellington Technologies. So, with that being said, I figured we'd spend this time to show you guys what kind of sets us apart from Viator in a lot of ways, right? Obviously, Viator and TripAdvisor, they're these humongous platforms, and we're not quite there yet, but we do have some really cool things in store that we're going to be working on. We are officially live as of last week, but we are taking it slow when we come to really ramping up in terms of sales, because we want to make sure that we have all of your information correct. We want to make sure that we get all of the Stripe accounts connected and whatnot as well. So we'll give actually, we're already at time, so we'll go ahead and I see some people are still hopping on. And definitely, if you have any questions throughout this, don't hesitate to throw a comment, and that comment will be shown here on the stage. So you can just put a comment in there. I'll just put, "Hey," I think mine will appear once I put it on there. There we go. Look at that. And then your comments again will appear on the live stage, and I'll be able to answer any kind of questions that you guys have. So let's go ahead and kick this bad boy off. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen in a second. Okay, so I'm going to do maybe 2 slides. And the first slide is just kind of like an overview for the sake of this presentation. And then I'll show you guys some of the other benefits and other things that we have as well. So there we go. As we know, BookInstead is an OTA similar to Viator or TripAdvisor, right? But we do things differently in the sense that we don't allow everybody on the platform, right? I'm sure you guys hear me say that in the meetings all the time. Not everybody will be on the platform. So all of you that are in this call right now are really, really freaking amazing. So you guys have great reviews. You've got all this really other great stuff about you, and I want to kind of explain that a little bit and what we look for and whatnot. And so in this session, we're going to talk about why OTAs are bleeding your margins. We're also going to talk about the 3-step direct booking system. We're going to talk about rank on Google so customers can find you and things like that. Before we do that, I'm just also going to share one more thing with you guys, and I want to just talk a little bit about Ellington Tech and who we are as a company. Okay, there we go. We'll let that come up for a second. There we go. Cool. So this all stems again from Ellington Tech, where we are a marketing agency, typically as a subscription, and we work with over 150 tour operators. And essentially, what that looks like is we offer different services, all the way from the usage of AI. So let's say you want to have people call your phone and you don't want to answer the call, you can have AI take that call. Sounds just like a human. And it's able to also give you a backlog of what the call was about, put that information into your database, and also help you with booking sales. And then on the other hand, we also do things like Google Ads, and we regularly hover around a 2,000% return. And I wanted to show you guys this case study of a client that we work with. And I want to show you guys why you should trust us with your Google ad spend when it comes to BookInstead. So this is about BookInstead, but I just kind of want to show you guys, why we're so confident that we're going to really be able to bring you guys a good amount of sales as well. So I'm just going to bring up this post. Bear with me a moment. Come on, I know you're in here. I know you're in here. There we go. Let's go case study. Okay, cool. All right, so this case study is from a client of ours, Chelan Paracel, a really great company. They're based out of Chelan, Washington. One of our first clients, actually. And with that, we've got a nice little screenshot here where we got to about a 1,600% return on ad spend. They ended up doing about they ended up doing a lot of money, right? The conversion rate was super high, and they hovered all the way up to around a 5,600% return on ad spend. So, long and behold, they made a lot of money off of a little bit of ad spend, and we do that really well. So, I see we have a couple of questions, and I'll go ahead and answer some of those questions, and then we'll also hop back into the presentation. So, the first question is from Captain Dave's at Captain Dave's Sports Fishing out of Jacksonville, Florida. He says, first time I got a human-like call, the other by an outfitter, and I harassed it. Okay, so it sounds like Captain Dave, he talked to the AI and he harassed it. It was great. It was a great conversation, right? It's a great conversation. So you'll get that a lot. A lot of people, they'll just be talking to the AI like, hey, like asking like crazy questions, So I won't go into detail with some of the questions that the AI gets, but you get my drift. Cool. So let's go ahead and go through this slide here. Okay. All right. So let's run through this bad boy. Okay. So a little bit about us. Like I said, we have about 150 clients, and some of our ad spend revenues might look like we might spend $8,000 in ads, and that come out to 165K. We've had results like that. We've got a ton of experience. I come from the big tech world. So I used to work at one of the largest financial technology companies in the world, where I ran their paid media ad spend. And so that's kind of where I got my toes wet. Worked in big tech for about 15 years. And so, with that, OTAs really kind of build out their structure, right? Their system, so they can make a lot of money off of you. And they give you a little bit for what you do, right? They're taking 30%. I've even heard, 35% or more. And they really kind of angle it around, you working for them. You know what I mean? And a lot of clients are really dependent on these OTAs to make their money. Some not so much, right? I hear of a variety of different things. So we might hear some, like a walking tour, especially walking tours for some reason, where they get 90% of all of their clients from OTAs, right? So they really have to lean heavily. And that's what the OTAs want. They want all of the bookings coming through them. They don't want to promote your brand, they want to promote themselves. And so even sometimes when people come to your location, they don't know who you are. They know who TripAdvisor is. They know they booked you on TripAdvisor. And that's kind of how they see you, right? And they're getting richer. They're making more and more money every year, and they're taking more and more, and they're figuring out new ways to do that. And another thing that you might notice is that they don't share their leads, right? So you have a client coming in that's going to come and do business with you. You don't have any way to talk to them or anything like that. You're unable to talk to them. You're unable to interact with that client to build a relationship with them because TripAdvisor is hogging that lead. We don't do that, right? We give you access to all of the leads, just like we have access to it, and you're able to keep that lead forever. And then we also help you with the remarketing to that particular lead. And like I said, if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to drop a comment. Don't hesitate to drop a comment. I see Captain Dave is talkative today. Captain Dave, don't hesitate to send some questions over. So, again, the data is very useful that you guys don't have access to, the customer data that they're keeping. And there's no direct bookings. right? So they're booking through TripAdvisor, but they're never booking through you. Honestly, we don't care if they book through you, right? We want to help build your brand as well, and I would say that that's the differentiating factor, if that makes sense. So the commission bleed is worse than you think. So let's say $200, that's the average price for a tour. Let's say that, right? Viator, they're going to get their cut, Then there's processing fees too. You're paying processing fees if you knew that or not. We actually stomach those processing fees. We take a baseline 20%, but we also take on the processing fees and a lot of the API fees too, which could be as much as, if you combine the two, as much as 4 to 5%. In addition to that, there's also marketing overhead, right? And things like that. Well, we handle the marketing for you. I know that we're doing tiers right now, these one-time tier payments, but holistically, we're spending the bulk of the money to help bring people to you and also help really get your brand out there and get you out there as a brand. And I'll show you guys a little bit more about that also. Oh, let me go back. So it's kind of a breakdown, and if anybody wants to receive the slide, we're more than happy to send it over after this chat. I wanted to turn it to the questions before we moved on. I see Craig at Hampton Beach Parasail reached out. So he says, so you will direct them to our site or link and track that? It's a great question. So we definitely will track that, but it's not that we're necessarily directing them to your site. We want them to come to us. We want to make money too. We want to make money just like you guys are making money, right? So we bring them in, we market to bring them into BookInstead. However, when they come in, that lead, and I'll show you guys the setup, that lead is going to also be stored in a shared CRM, right? So you'll have access to that lead and it's going to come into your CRM. So you'll be able to, use that lead to be able to, communicate with them, talk to them, and all of these things, if that makes sense, if that answers your question. So we don't just keep the leads for ourselves. We give those leads over to you guys and things like that as well. So after, hope that makes sense. Hope that answers your question. Thanks for that question, Craig. Cool. Craig says, thank you. Hey, well, thank you. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate it. Let's go over to slide 5. So your 3-step direct booking system. Build it once, run it every season. So what does that look like, right? So you get found first, local SEO, Google Ads. And again, they're coming through the BookInstead. We're marketing BookInstead, but we're talking about you. We're talking about your brand name. This is a partnership, right? It's not that, we win and you guys just, exist, right? You win, we win, and vice versa. That's kind of the way that the platform is set up here. So then after that, again, you get to keep that lead. We're going to market to bring them to our website, and you'll have access to be able to upsell to them and do whatever you want, et cetera. And let me remove these comments for a second because I can't see the last part of the slide. There we go. Own the relationship, right? So we do email marketing for you. If you opt in for that, that's going to be totally free, but you can also do your own email marketing and things like that too. Again, to be able to upsell this person to bring them back in. So again, we're talking about customer retention here, but any new traffic, we're definitely going to direct that traffic over to BookInstead. We're going to do that. That's what we're going to do. So with that being said, the OTA dependency audit. So we're going to audit you guys over here, right? We're going to flip it around on you guys. So before you change anything, understand exactly how much you're losing right now. So let's calculate your true OTA cost, right? So, let's say your booking's $50. You're given, TripAdvisor, Viator, you're giving them, 30% of that. And then you've got all this other stuff that you got to do, these other expenses that you got to pay for. How much are you really keeping out of that? Credit card fees and processing fees and all these things. Like I said, we're going to stomach a lot of that. So really, we're not necessarily in all instances getting the full 20% that we take, but we are also helping to just make it transparent across the board, right? So that's one less thing that you have to worry about as an operator. And keep the questions coming, you guys. Keep them coming. Map your booking sources, right? So what percent comes from Viator versus direct bookings and things like that? You'll have a lot of transparency into that, and we're still working on setting that up, which that kind of goes into a question that Craig from Hampton Beach Parasail in Hampton, New Hampshire asked, where he asked, let me see, let me put your question back up, where he asks if we, are going to be linking or tracking that as well. So yeah, we're going to be tracking what you're bringing in through Google Analytics. We're going to be tracking that, so you'll know, like, okay, this source, this sale came through my website, this sale came through BookInstead, this sale came from blah 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 blah. But also you're going to be able to see that in your dashboard too. And another thing that I wanted to mention is you're going to be able to sync. We're going to be able to sync via API all of your different booking sources together, so you're not doing any duplicate bookings. I actually know this one guy. He's on like 50 or 60 OTAs. Granted, he's making millions, but he links them. Well, he doesn't link them all together. He kind of goes and checks them individually, and that sounds like a pain in the ass, right? We can let the automation and the API do that. We're techies. So hey, count on us for that stuff, you guys. So let's go to questions real quick, and let's see what Captain Dave's at Captain Dave's Sports Fishing out of Jacksonville, Florida. I assume we'll learn all that list of stuff on the BookInstead account. Right now, I don't know what I am looking at now. Gotcha. We'll go over that a bit, Captain Dave. Right now, what we're really talking about is just OTAs, TripAdvisor, Viator. And then I'm going to go and show you guys actually what I'm talking about looks like. So we'll go into that. Great point. I'm happy you brought that up. So we'll go ahead and skip to the next slide. So local SEO that actually works, right? So what we do at Ellington Tech, we do a lot of these different things. We're going to help you get your Google business profile optimized. That's going to increase conversions right away. It's going to help people be able to find you easier. We also help with technical SEO, making sure your website looks good, not only on the front end, but also on the back end, right? We want to make sure that Google is easily able to crawl your website and all of these things. So stuff isn't really going to come with BookInstead. Some of it will. One thing that will come with it is called these programmatic SEO pages. So I'm actually going to turn it over to another screen and kind of go over a little bit of this stuff so you have more perspective before I move on. So let's say let's talk about the programmatic SEO pages, since that's where we left off, right? That's a big word, programmatic. So let's say we go and type in parasailing. Oh, I spelled parasailing wrong. Parasailing, let's say San Diego. That's a nice city. And I've probably used this example on many of you in this call right now. So let's say we're talking about that. I'm going to go scroll down the page, and I can see here TripAdvisor. They have a San Diego parasailing page. Oh, actually, that's a company. Sorry, that's a company. Here we go. Here's a good one. This is the one I typically use. So let's say we go here, right? And I can see different options of parasailing in San Diego that I can choose from, right? We're going to do a ton of different pages like this for you guys. And these pages are extremely effective when it comes to SEO. And it's going to help you rank faster. Like I said, we care about promoting you as a brand as well. So keep that in mind. So I also wanted to circle back to what Captain Dave was mentioning, right? Some more perspective on what the hell I'm even talking about, right? That's an important one. So let's go over to, we're going to go over to BookInstead's profile. And so, let me take this back. There we go. Okay, there we go. Cool. So this is what your dashboard is going to look like, essentially. One of your dashboards, right? This is what it's going to look like. And so in this dashboard, if you want to get one of your team members to do it, or if you got some 15-year-old, tech genius or something like that to do this for you, don't have to do it. All of your leads are going to be stored here. You're going to have access to all of these tools. And we're going to be given a class on these tools, by the way, so you guys can use them and, profit with it. But you see all of these leads, these contacts, right? These are people signing up for stuff that we're offering. This is people, coming in through BookInstead, all these different things. So when somebody comes in through BookInstead, for example, and they book your service or they ask a question, right? They're going to give their email conversationally. And that information is going to be stored in a CRM for you and your company that only you and your company can see. We can see it too, but it's going to look like this. And the cool part about this is that email marketing has a 4,200% return. Why not email market them back? Or you can get us to do it at Ellington Tech. We're more than happy to do that for you internally. Why not do that for them, right? Why not, get that? That's $42 per every $1 in spend. So that's a little bit of what I'm talking about. So TripAdvisor, they've got their own CRM of clients that you're bringing in for them, but you just don't see it. You don't see it, right? You don't have access to it. We give you access to this so you can reach out to them and also so you can talk to them versus us kind of hogging the lead. And I know that's a big thing that many of you have spoken to me about, that you want to have access to be able to talk to them, right? So let's go back to the slide and we'll break some of this down a little bit more. We're also going to be doing a lot of backlinks too. If you guys don't know what that is, we're going to be linking to a lot of blog sites and stuff like that. We'll say good things about you guys on those. So with that, I would say this slide isn't super important. It's a little bit of how we operate the funnel. So obviously we're going to build awareness about you guys and things like that. And we're going to bring you guys into we're going to bring, the person or the client into the fold. We're going to send them to the web page, and then they're going to see the booking form. They're going to book or booking confirmation. And then we're also going to upsell them on other services that you guys offer too. And then from there, we're going to do email marketing and things like that so they can rebook. And I would say that's a big grievance I have with some of the tour operators. I feel like you guys don't do a whole lot of follow-ups. And I think that's a huge mistake. Let me be honest. I think that's a huge mistake because in a lot of industries, that's going to increase your revenue from about 50 to sometimes 80%. And I know that you guys have a lot of seasonal people and seasonal traffic that's coming in, but who says they might not want to come back in a month? Who says they don't want to come back in a year? We don't know that, right? So we want to definitely look into that. So let's talk about the email strategy. So again, as a part of what we do, we're going to do email for you guys. If you opt in, some people don't want to do email with us. That's cool. We're really good at it. But all the people who are coming in and a lot of your leads too, that you also have, we are going to be able to do email marketing to these folks and let them know and let them come and book, right? We've got a client out of Las Vegas. I won't say any names. And they have over 15 years of emails, and that's hundreds of thousands of emails that they have, probably millions, because they see, I think they see about 30 to 40,000 clients per year. They have never done any outreach. I would say 95% of small businesses don't, do client retention, right? So just imagine the opportunity. Just imagine how much his revenue is going to grow in just 1 year if he sends out even one email, right? Remember that 4,200%. Keep the questions coming, you guys. By the way, there are about 13 to 15 people in this call. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I don't bite unless you want me to. Cool. So we talked a little bit about that. So yeah, we're going to be doing email newsletters and email marketing at a very high level, and we're very effective at it. In addition to that, we're going to be bringing in a lot of reviews to the platform and things. You guys are very familiar with how the ratings work and things like that. And that's really going to also help you book more through the platform. So, with that, here goes kind of like a comparison, right? Traditional OTAs versus BookInstead. So one big thing is that they have unlimited operators, right, per category. They got everybody and their mom has a listing on TripAdvisor, right? With us, we cap the number of operators per category per city. So let's say we're talking about sports fishing in Jacksonville, where Captain Dave is. And by the way, you guys, if you want to shout out, don't hesitate to drop a comment. We'd love to shout you out. I think it's good for operators to talk to one another too. You know, that might be helpful. But let's say, you know, we're talking about listings for sports fishing in Jacksonville. We might have between 1 to maybe 3 operators per category per city. TripAdvisor doesn't do that. Anybody that signs up can get listed. You compete against 50 plus similar listings. We don't do that. You know, we limit the number of people on the website. We want to keep it competitive, and we want you guys to excel. We decided to do a partnership with you, so that's who we're focusing on, right? Paid ads benefits the platform, not you. So again, the stuff that we do is also going to have, it's also going to ricochet traffic over to you guys in a long-term perspective as well. So, and another thing I want to mention, you know, you guys might ask, why do we care to market you guys as a platform, right? Why do we want to do that? Why is that beneficial to us? Well, one, you know, our goal really is to build a name for quality. That's really our go-to, right? And we also want to build a relationship and a partnership with you guys as operators. And so with that, we also want to lower the commission and things like that too, and maybe move more to, we could move to a SaaS model, right? Where you guys save even more money. You guys don't have to pay us as much money for bringing in bookings, right? Where we turn into this performance marketing agency in so many regard. And so if you guys look good, then we look good as well. And that's why we really care. Happy to elaborate on that too, if you like. You own no customer data. Again, you own all of the customer data that we bring in, and pay per play visibility. We do commission only, and we also do tiers as well. And with that, race to the bottom with pricing, and we don't operate like that. So we got like 2 more slides to go and about 4 more minutes to go. So keep throwing the questions, and I'm going to answer those questions as well. And I'll show you guys a little bit about the different tiers that we offer before we get out of here today. So I think I showed you guys a little bit about our Google Ads strategy and how we're winning and why we're winning. I mean, just imagine you give $8,000, which that's incremental, that's over time, right? You might start with a couple $100, and then you get back 165,000 in revenue, right? It's a big one. It's a big one. And so with that, let's go ahead and leave the last little bit of time open for questions. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's do that in a second, but let me share my screen, and I'm going to go over just some of the tiers, right? And we talked about this with a couple of you guys, and many of you are already on tiers. So choose a tier that works for you. Again, we still work with you. We build the listings for you. You don't have to do that. We try to do everything for you as well. Email marketing and things like that. What's not included is going to be paid ads, right? And then tier 2, we do paid ads for you. We also spend and invest money into you as well. You see this $500. You pay $200. We're going to put another $300 in there for you. Then we're also going to do all these programmatic pages that I showed you guys earlier in the presentation. And so we now have all of the money that we need, all the 50,000 that we need to push that out. But I want to make sure that we're doing it slow, because some of you guys still owe me some of your Stripe access so we can get you guys connected. And we need to finish confirming some of the listings with you guys. So that's on our side too. And we're still working on that. As you go up in tier, you get more. You know, this is $2,000 in ad spend. And then we got $5,000 in ad spend. So that's how that works. So with that being said, I just wanted to leave it open for any questions. So add some questions in the comments, and I'm going to share my screen over here. Well, actually, I'm already sharing my screen, and I'm going to kind of go through the website so you guys can see what it looks like live. We got some beautiful listings over here, some coastal, 2-hour coastal cruise. That's over in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. That sounds like a our friends at Epic Excursions. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So this is what the pages look like. I don't know if you guys have got on there and seen them yet, but basically they come and they go down, they book, or they click to check availability. So let's say I want to book for this time. Let's see if she's got some time slots. There we go. And then we can choose, by the number of people. If I want this many people, it's how much it's going to cost. I go to book now, and pretty simple process. And this, again, it's going to integrate with all of your other systems and things like that. And I can go ahead and I can book this. If I get a coupon code, I can apply that as well. So a lot that I can do there. So that kind of goes over the process a little bit. But let me go ahead and let's refer back to some of these questions. Okay. All right. So we got Captain Dave's at Captain Dave's Sport Fishing. I told you about how I tried to get on Viator a while back. I asked them about it, and they told me I needed millions in insurance. Number one, how do I afford that? Is what I told them. I'm one person. Yeah, that's crazy. That's I actually didn't realize that they were charging you insurance for that. The way we do it is, we have our own company insurance, right, where we're covered, but your own kind of liability, right, falls back on you as well. I mean, for saving money, I mean, you're not going to have to pay millions of dollars in insurance, right? And I do remember this question coming up, and I thought it was a great question. But yeah, I don't know how you afford that. That's a lot of money, unless you're bringing in like a bajillion bookings per month over there. So, and this is Adventures in Florida. So let me bring up the name real quick. Adventures. And so Dave at Adventures in Florida. What's up, Dave? I believe Dave is over in Orlando, sunny Orlando. So he says, are the tiers annual paid or monthly? So the tiers are one time right now, Dave. We are considering coming up with a SaaS or a monthly subscription option, right? It'll be optional depending on what you want, so we can do more things for you guys. But right now it's one time. This really helps get us going. We're investing a lot of money as well. This helps us to invest into you. So yes, that is going to be right now one time. It doesn't cost anything to get going, but so you can do free, but yeah, it's just one-time payment for now. Let's see. We got another question from Craig at Hampton Beach Parasail over in Hampton, New Hampshire. So this will help. So I think you're asking, how will this help our individual site rank higher, or will Bookable rank higher and make us lower? So I think what you're asking is this going to help us rank higher, or is this going to refer much of the traffic to us and take that traffic away from you? That's a great question. So no, it's not going to take the traffic away from you. There will be a lot of, so you're not going to necessarily link to our website. We're not going to have like a backlink for you or anything like that. But the name of your company, we are going to help promote the name of your company in the ads, right? So that's kind of what we're going to lead with, kind of like showing that we're in partnership together, if that makes sense, right? So if anything, it would also help the ranking of your website, right? And I think that holistically, Google is able to tell like, oh, this is a marketplace website, right? This is a OTA. And then also that your name is also associated with your actual website. So one, it'll help promote the name of your company, which we believe will divert traffic to you. And two, we are going to lead first really with promoting you as a company versus just promoting it. We're going to promote ourselves too, but we're also going to lead with doing that, and also share leads with you as well that we bring in, whether they book with you or whether they just ask questions through our handy dandy AI chatbot. That those leads are still going to come to you as well. I hope that makes sense. And I'm happy to share some of those details later. We're obviously going to show you guys the the ads once we get them made as well. But I hope that answers your question. Okay. So let's see. So Craig at Hampton Beach Parasol in Hampton, New Jersey. I'm sorry, Hampton, New Hampshire. Can we only allow certain trip times or tours be available on BookInstead, or is it all of them? You're in total control. You can limit the number of ones you can. So, for example, let's go to this right here. I think this is probably Pure Aloha Adventures. Great company here. So the timing is based off of what you want, right? So let's say you want March off. You can have March off and do whatever you want, right? Just let us know. Or let's say also you've got your Fair Harbor connected. You've got your TripAdvisor connected and all these things. And you don't want any double bookings. You just don't want to deal with that. Our API is going to be able to handle that for you. Where you get your Fair Harbor. We're also working on a deal with ResD, because I know that some of the booking platforms might not have API that will be able to situate and handle that, so there are no double bookings. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, you can limit the number of trips. You can do whatever you want. You come up with all new tours that you don't even have on your website. We actually encourage that. So however you want to do it there. So, all right. I know you guys got some more questions. Any more questions? Any more questions over here? Any more questions? Any more questions? All right. Okay. Well, so with that being said, you guys, I don't think there are any more questions. If there are any more, we'll be sure to share them. So you guys can ask any questions you want. It's been an absolute pleasure hosting this webinar with you guys. We are going to be doing another webinar in about 2 weeks. So we'll be going in depth on a lot of other things too. We are also going to set up some time to go through the Ellington Brands app, which is where your leads will be going into. And it's a really great tool, and I think you're going to really like it. And so we're going to be going over that stuff as well. And then we're also going to be really pushing for it with Google ad spend. Like I said, we're spending $50,000 in Google ads alone. So with that, we look forward to really getting you guys out there. Thank you as well, Dave, at Adventures in Florida, in Orlando, Florida. And let's see, Captain Dave's from Captain Dave's Sports Fishing in Jacksonville, Florida. We'll have to go to a calendar and block off trips per book. No, it's going to be automatic. But if you do want to, manipulate your time, right? Let's say, you are just going to take all of April off. You can do that, right? It's no problem. But you don't have to do any of that stuff manually, right? If that makes sense. And we actually, for now, just reach out to us and we can take care of it for you. That's what we're here for. But yeah, and the API and stuff like that too. Like, let's say you get a booking through one of your through TripAdvisor or whatever, right? And that cancels out your 11 o'clock booking on the 25th. Then it would automatically be updated. So you don't need to go and manually do anything, if that makes sense. So cool. All righty. Well, if there are no more questions, if there are, don't hesitate to drop some if there are no more questions. It was great to chat with you guys. And I'll see some of you in 2 weeks. If you want to come back to the next webinar, feel free to hit us up individually. And thank you so much for your time. It was a great 38 minutes and 56 seconds that I spent with you guys. So thank you. Have a good one.